The Land Before Time. Getting into Trouble. Written by Ann Daw. Illustrated by Robert Stanford and Christopher Fowler. Cover illustration provided by Universal Studios Licensing, Inc. Okay, let's begin. Littlefoot was getting bigger. He could feel it. Well, not exactly feel it, but he knew it all the same. Today, when he and his grandpa had gone to the forest for tree stars, he had reached some of the lower branches all by himself. "You're getting to be a real help, Littlefoot," Grandpa said on their way home. Littlefoot felt so proud. Well, he thought he'd grow another 2 feet right then and there. Well, not quite then and there, but eventually he will. Actually, Littlefoot had only grown an inch or two. He knew he still had a long way to grow before he would be a full-sized dinosaur like the ones that roam the Great Valley. But bigger is better, he told himself, imagining what it was going to be like when he was as tall as his grandpa, or taller. "Your friends have been looking for you, Littlefoot," Grandma said as she greeted him and Grandpa by the tall palm tree. "Thanks, Grandma," said Littlefoot as he turned to go off to find Spike and the others. "And as soon as you've had your dinner, you may join them," she finished. "Yes, Grandma," Littlefoot sighed as he started munching on his tree stars. Littlefoot truly loved his grandma and grandpa, but when will they stop treating me like a baby? He wondered. Couldn't they see how big he was getting? Didn't they know he would be all grown up soon and going off on his own? Maybe even to the mysterious beyond? I don't know. They have to. They must. I think they do know it. "How will I ever grow up if they won't let me?" he thought. "Hey, Littlefoot, come on," called Sarah from the clump of tall trees. "Off with you," Grandma said, wiping off Littlefoot's mouth and giving him a gentle shove. "And don't forget," Grandpa began, "home before dark, and—" I know," Littlefoot called over his shoulder. "Don't go too far." Grandma and Grandpa watched as he left, smiling and shaking their wise heads. "What's up, guys?" Littlefoot called as he found his friends. "I'm not a guy," said Sarah proudly, tossing her head and walking in a big circle, as only a three-horn can do. Me too," Ducky chimed in. "We are girls." Oh yes, we are." Spike wasn't paying attention to any of this. He was much too busy watching a big blue fuzzy caterpillar. "Let's play hide and seek in forest," said Beatree, wrapping himself in his wings. "We played that yesterday," said Littlefoot glumly. "Then swimming?" shouted Ducky, racing in the direction of the swimming hole. Spike had lost track of the caterpillar, and swimming sounded like a good idea to him. So he began to follow Ducky, who was humming her swimming tune brightly. "I'm tired of swimming," said Littlefoot, pacing back and forth. "How about an adventure?" said Sarah, leaping in front of Littlefoot. "Me like adventure," said Beatree. Us too," Ducky sang out, leading Spike back to hear Sarah's idea. "Adventure?" asked Littlefoot. "What kind of adventure?" First, began, balancing on a mossy log, we'll climb up to the top of Big Flat Rock. And then, asked Littlefoot, hunt down a sharp tooth, Sarah exclaimed, jumping down. She did her best to make it sound exciting, but Spike and Ducky and Petrie just laughed. Oh, just pretend, said Littlefoot. Kid stuff, he shrugged and began walking away. Well, what do you want to do? Asked Sarah. Littlefoot put his head right up to Sarah's face and whispered, let's go on a real adventure. A grown-up adventure. Somewhere we've never gone before. Someplace far. How far is far, Littlefoot? Asked Ducky. Or very far, or very far? I think Littlefoot's up to something. What we do there? Asked Petrie. Who knows? Said Littlefoot mysteriously. But it will be different. Come on. He began climbing the side of the rocky hill, and it only took a moment for the others to join him. Maybe it was the idea of something new and exciting. Or maybe it was Littlefoot's way of sounding so brave and so grown up. But they were ready for fun. Or so they thought. Littlefoot and his friends climbed higher than they ever climbed before. Up past a bubbling stream, past rocky ravines, past the thundering falls, past the swimming hole. When they reached the flat rock, they just kept right on climbing till they couldn't even see the great valley below. Wow, they climbed really high, like to the top of a mountain. Now this is what I call an adventure, Sarah said, her face into the wind. Littlefoot had been feeling so grown up to have led them this far. But now he was beginning to feel something else. It was a funny, uncomfortable feeling that he did not like. As the shadows grew larger around the little group, Littlefoot realized how late it was. He wondered if he had gone too far, if maybe he should have listened to his grandpa after all, if maybe, just maybe, he had made a terrible mistake. I don't know what happened, Littlefoot. You wanted the adventure. You got it. Maybe we should start back, he said in his most grown-up sounding voice. Suddenly, the air was filled with a horrible growling and roaring. There was only one creature big enough and fierce enough to make that sound. Sharptooth! Said Petrie, trembling from beak to tail. Uh-oh. A Sharptooth. What's gonna happen? Where? Sarah screamed, hiding behind Littlefoot, who didn't move at all. I'm really scared, Ducky whispered to Spike. I really, really am. Littlefoot looked around. The sound of the snarling Sharptooth grew louder and closer. and Littlefoot knew he had to make a decision. Look, I got you into this mess. I'll do my best to try to get you out, he said in a loud whisper. As he began moving quickly along the rocky path, he realized he was climbing alone. Come on, he called. The only way we can go is up. Up, the others all thought. The last place any of them wanted to go was up. What about down? That's where home was. And home was where they wanted to be. Where they ought to be. Why had they listened to Littlefoot in the first place? And why should they listen to him now? Maybe because he's trying to do his best to get them out of the mess. The ground began shaking as the sharp tooth came into view. Just as his glaring, fiery eyes spotted the frightened little dinosaur, they realized what they had to do. They had no choice but to follow Littlefoot and trust that he could lead them to safety. On the other side of the rugged cliff, Littlefoot found a path. It wasn't very big, but it might just be wide enough, he thought. Good thing they were still small. Spike, you go first, said Littlefoot. I'll go last and help from behind. Don't look down, warned Petrie, who fluttered just above their heads, guiding them as best as he could at every turn. Spike first, with Ducky on his back, and Sarah and Littlefoot were close behind. Every step of the way down, the five of them heard the stomping and snarling of the very angry Sharptooth. He had been much too big to fit between the rocks on either side of the path, and surely would have fallen if he had tried such a steep climb downward. Whew! Well, Littlefoot's idea worked. Littlefoot and his friend knew they had been very lucky this time. Yeah, I bet. Home, sighed Petrie as the familiar sight to the Great Valley came into view. Home, sniffed Sarah as he heard her father's voice calling for her. Home, 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 said Ducky as she and Spike hurried to the river. Home, said Littlefoot, smiling, glad for once that he wasn't too grown up for the hugs he knew were waiting for him. And that's the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace out and see you next time. Bye.